Good morning and welcome to our midday's briefing. We have several announcements for you today before we can take your questions. So let me start with a reminder that we will have Commissioner Vaheli in our VIP corner at 1 o'clock. So we'll aim at finishing here slightly earlier so that those who are interested can then move on to the VIP corner for a press point on an important announcement regarding reinforced controls of imported products into the EU. Then with regard to our college meeting tomorrow and the points on the agenda, as well as related press events, what is on the menu? So tomorrow, the College is expected to adopt a European grids package. Executive Vice President Ribeira and Commissioner Jorgensen will present that package during the College readout after the College meeting. We are also planning a technical briefing tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. under embargo so that you can prepare the reporting on this subject. The College is also expected to adopt its environmental simplification package, also known as Environmental Omnibus, which will be presented by Executive Vice President Ribeira and Commissioners Dombrovskis and Rosval in a press conference after the College readout. We already have a technical briefing on this topic at 3:30 today under embargo, which we are confident will be useful for you. We will confirm the final program, timings, etc. via our usual channels, so stay tuned. Et on passe au Conseil du jour. D'abord, le Conseil compétitivité est réuni aujourd'hui à Bruxelles pour discuter de l'avenir de la recherche européenne et de la politique spatiale. La matinée est consacrée à la recherche en présence de la commissaire Zaharieva. Les ministres se pencheront sur la prochaine génération du programme Horizon Europe, ainsi que sur la révision du règlement Euro High Performance Computing. Vous m'excusez la dénomination en anglais. Ils discutent également du fonds Scale Up Europe et de la sécurité de la recherche. Vous pourrez suivre la conférence de presse de la commissaire Zaharieva et de la présidence danoise aux alentours de 1h30. Cet après-midi, vers 15 heures, place à l'espace. Le commissaire Kubilius rejoindra les ministres. Le principal point à l'ordre du jour sera la loi spatiale de l'Union européenne, also known as EU Space Act, qui vise à assurer la sécurité et la durabilité des activités en orbite. Et la conférence de presse sur ce point est prévue vers 17h45. Deuxièmement, le Conseil justice se réunit lui aussi à Bruxelles aujourd'hui avec le commissaire McGrath et l'ordre du jour comprend des discussions sur les efforts de l'Union européenne pour lutter contre l'impunité des crimes commis par la Russie dans le cadre de la guerre en Ukraine. Il comprend également des discussions sur l'application du règlement général sur la protection des données. Et le commissaire McGrath participera à la conférence de presse qui suivra la session vers 15 heures. Donc, comme d'habitude, nous vous invitons à réserver vos questions sur les thématiques des réunions du Conseil de ce jour pour les conférences de presse dédiées. Et vous voyez bien, il y a pas mal d'événements presse cet après-midi. And to conclude, last but not least, I would like to welcome a group of 16 national and regional journalists from Latvia who have just joined us. Yes, you're welcome to applaud. who are joining us in the press room today. Have a wonderful time with us now at the midday and with us in the Commission. Wish you all the very best and a very warm welcome. And that is it for our announcements, and we can take your questions. Yes, Maria.
Good morning. Thank you for the floor. Maria Vasiliou, Tanea, Greece. I have a question on SAFE. I suppose Thomas is around. Because I understand I'm actually contributing to his stakes to get extra holidays.
See, there's a concerted effort.
So, as I understand, the Greek proposal under SAFE has been sent back to Greece for amendments. I would like to ask what are the reasons for sending back the proposal, and is this a common practice? Have you sent back proposals under SAFE that have been tabled also by other countries, and if yes, how many countries, and what are generally the reasons for this? Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Let me try not to disappoint you too much with my reply. So, we gave the tentative SAFE allocations. The College adopted a decision on this on 9 September. We gave a tentative SAFE allocation. We happily confirmed at the beginning of this month, on the 1st of December, that we have received the 19 national plans. Following up on that, we said that we would now take the month of December, maybe a little bit more if needed, to analyze these national plans. What happens in this context, I mean, positive news from the leaks you got, without confirming and commenting extensively on leaks, is that you can see that the Commission is heavily engaged and already pretty active in analyzing these plans. What is happening is that, of course, when we have a question on the national plans that we received, which is the case here with Greece, when we are asking ourselves questions, we go back to the national authorities to ask for certain clarifications. So this is a normal process. I will not discuss this extensively here because, of course, defense and the content of these national plans is highly sensitive, so I will not elaborate on this. It's just a common practice when you have additional questions on the plans that we have just received to reach out to the national authorities to ask for certain clarifications. One final point from my side, absolutely no plan has been rejected by the Commission. It's just engaging with Member States to get additional information.
Thank you for those clarifications. Thomas, other questions to Thomas? Maria, you have a follow-up?
Yes, when you say clarifications, it seems to mean that actually there are not huge problems involved with the proposals. I just want to, to understand the magnitude of the changes that you are requesting. And also an additional question, does this mean that actually the first amount that was scheduled in January, I think, 15%, to be disturbed to the countries that there might be a delay on this? Thank you.
I would not speak about delays at this stage. What I would say is that, I mean, again, what is the Commission doing in its assessment? We're checking if the criteria foreseen in the regulation are met. Is the correct amount of member states in these plans? Is it more or less in line with the tentative allocations that we gave? Is this really an investment here for defense purposes? This is really an assessment of these general criteria that we're doing. This is why we are having and we will continue to have bilateral discussions with our member states. I will not quantify or qualify the amount of problems that we see with plans. This is just really a normal process we're having with our member states.
Thank you, Thomas. Other questions to Thomas? Good. I see that there's less of concerted effort today. Roland.
Thank you very much, Roland Papid-Nipseva. I have a question regarding RF. So the Hungarian government is working on modifying the RF plan to include a capital injection for investment bank of around 4 billion euros. So my first question is, has there been any discussions on this specific capital injection between the Commission and Hungary? And the second one is that when it comes to RRF and Hungary, there are super milestones. So I was wondering whether there has been any movement on this. Has the Hungarian government had some new plans or discussions with the Commission, how they try to solve the problems of super milestones before they can get anything from these funds? Thank you very much.
Maciej.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your question. So when it comes to the Hungarian recovery plan, I cannot announce any change, to be honest. So basically, what's the state of play? There is still 10.4 billion euros blocked for Hungary under the RRF, and it's basically because Hungary has not fulfilled the super milestone to protect EU financial interest and to strengthen its judicial independence. So there is no progress in this regard.
Okay, Roland, a follow-up.
So just to follow up, can you confirm that whatever it is in the Hungarian plan, before the super milestones questions are addressed, nothing will change? Is that correct?
Look, the super milestones are essential for every recovery plan. They have to be fulfilled. We need to have a guarantee that they can be fulfilled in order for the plan to be implemented. As I said, these super milestones are considered not to be satisfactorily fulfilled in Hungary, and therefore the funds are blocked.
Thank you. Other questions to Maciej? No. Then we change topic. I go here to the center.
Hi, Olga Rodriguez from Japanese news agency Kyodo News. I wanted to ask you regarding the Russian assets and the conversations with other G7 partners. How do you see Japan's will to mobilize their assets? Japanese sources say that they don't reject the plan. What do you have to say about this? Thank you.
Olga, thank you. I don't have much to say other than the fact that we are indeed engaging with our G7 partners and exploring what are their interest in contributing to the reparations loan. This has already been said also earlier and confirmed by President von der Leyen that indeed we are reaching out. So we're trying to really pool the efforts within the EU, but also beyond the EU, and reaching out to our G7 partners and, of course, including Japan, which also holds such assets, to explore the possibilities to contributing. And so discussions are ongoing. Jorge.
Yes, it's the same subject, the G7. I know yesterday there was a call of G7 finance ministers where this issue was discussed. Has the European Commission received a full endorsement from the United States to move ahead with this proposal? Because we know that in the original 28-point plan, the United States wanted to profit from the assets. Then last week, Bloomberg reported that the United States was lobbying individual member states to derail the proposal. So have you received an updated position from the United States? And if so, what is it? Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. Listen, we don't go into the details of the discussions regarding the point plan for peace for Ukraine. You've said it yourself. This was in the original 28-point plan. We understand the point plan has now been reduced to 20 points, and we had made clear that there were some issues on that original peace plan that concerned directly the EU, and with regard to the immobilized frozen assets which are in the EU, this is one of the topics which indeed requires the discussion with the EU, if anything, and if it's to be part of this peace plan. Diego.
It's not on the reparation law, but on Russian sanctions. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Probably for Olaf, it's about the story published in today's Politico Playbook on the Belgo-Luxembourgish Chamber of Commerce, probably organizing a webinar on evading sanctions. I read and I hear your argument, Olaf, about the Commission not being responsible for enforcing sanctions. Nevertheless, more generally, I wanted to ask if you have an idea of how many EU member states Chamber of Commerce in Russia exist, and secondly, if you think or have the feeling that, the raison d'être of a Chamber of Commerce being deepening business relations, if that is not undermining the general EU goal of isolating Russia economically since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you, Diego. I think it will be very difficult for Olaf to say how many chambers of commerce there are in Russia and defending Russia business interests. I think in general what we can say, obviously business is interested in business, in making business. Now, if there are sanctions which apply to business, we also expect, with regard to EU business, to comply with those sanctions. Goes without saying, and I think we've been also pretty successful in making sure that indeed companies adhere by that, because they also understand the logic behind. So I'm looking at Olaf to see if there's anything he wants to add, and that is it. Yes, Diego, something else?
Yes, I'll try to rephrase my question in a more precise way then. Don't you find it problematic that there are still European Union-based organizations in Russia trying to deepen business ties? Thank you.
At this point, I will indeed give on to Olaf, just to make sure that in case he knows more about the specific case, he can address your question, Diego. Olaf.
Thanks for your question, Diego. I don't have much to add beyond what Paula has said. I mean, we expect EU economic operators to abide by our sanctions regime. I don't have more information about which chambers of commerce are or are not active in Russia. I can look into that for you and come back. But I can't really say much more at this point.
Okay. Vitaly, please. Is it for Olaf? Sorry, let me just precise, because then if...
I am not sure about 20th package of sanctions.
Yeah, give it a go.
Yes. Today, High Representative in Parliament said that EU managed to adopt 5 packages sanction during the last 12 months. I think she meant since December last, but is it possible this year, till the end of this year, to adopt 20th package of sanction, and do you consider such possibility? Thank you.
Okay. Yes, this is in between Olaf and Anita, but Olaf, anything you want to say, or we can say? I don't think there's much we can say on this at this stage.
Thanks for your question, Vitaly, but we don't comment on expected timings of upcoming sanctions packages, as you know. We are constantly working to prepare additional packages should they be necessary, and we're constantly working to address any deficiencies that arise from previous packages. So it's kind of twin-track work, as it has been for all the previous packages, but I can't say more about timelines at this stage.
Okay, other questions to Olaf? No? Okay, then let me take a question online from Fabio, which I understand is on the college agenda. Fabio.
Yes, hi. Thank you for the floor. Just to know, I'm Fabio Napoli for the Italian news agency Public Policy. I didn't hear anything about the Clean Industrial Deal implementation package. This means that it's not going to be approved this means that it's not going to be approved tomorrow? And if so, when? Thank you.
Thank you, Fabio. You're absolutely right. The Clean Industrial Deal is not on the agenda of the College tomorrow. It's foreseen soon, but again, it's tentatively foreseen. So it's still foreseen for this year, so there are not many choices. But again, I remind everyone that the so-called liste des points prévus, which is a planning tool that we use and share publicly, is indicative. But I confirm it's not on the agenda of the College tomorrow. We move on here, please.
Good Afternoon, Zoya Sheptelovich from Politico. Donald Trump said in an interview with Politico that's just published now that the EU is a decaying group of nations run by weak people. The US has said in its security strategy that it is effectively looking to undermine the EU. How does the EU respond to the fact that it seems like we have a US administration that is actively trying to dismantle the European Union?
Thank you, Zoya. Listen, I will refrain from commenting other than confirming that we are very pleased and grateful to have excellent leaders, starting with the leader in this House, President of the European Commission, von der Leyen, who we are really proud of, who can lead us in the many challenges that the world is facing. We have many other leaders at the head of the 27 member states that are part of this European project, of this peace project, who are leading the EU with all the challenges that it is facing, from trade to war in our neighbourhood, and who are showing that they can be united as 27 in so many challenges that we've been facing, again, from war with our neighbour Ukraine, to energy crisis that we felt only recently, and we've been able together to overcome all those challenges. So let me use the opportunity to reiterate what I believe is the sense of many of the millions of citizens in the EU. We are proud of our leaders. Yes, please.
Hi, it's Dorota from Polish Public TV, TVP, and it's the question about the state aid. I would like to ask if you can confirm that the Commission has agreed a state aid of 60 billion euro for the Polish nuclear plant, or if not, at which stage of deliberation it is, and what is being taken into consideration in this decision. Thank you.
Happy to have Ariana coming up.
Thank you, Dorota, for the question. So first of all, let me recall that back in December last year, in 2024, we have opened an in-depth investigation to assess whether public support that Poland planned to grant for a nuclear power plant was in line with stated rules. As of this moment, the decision has not been adopted, therefore I cannot confirm at this stage. Of course, as soon as a decision will be adopted, we will be communicating via our usual channels. Normally we publish a press release, so don't worry that as soon as there is a decision by the college, you will be the first to know.
Thank you, Ariana. And follow-up, Dorota.
How soon? Because there has been reporting it will be this afternoon.
We're not in the habit of pre-announcing timings of our decisions, so you'll just have to wait. Apologies.
We keep the suspense until adoption. Good, but keep your eye. Good. Other questions to Ariana on competition? Yes, go ahead.
Thanks very much. Maximilian Henning from Euractiv. This is on the Google AI competition case launched today. I just want to ask for a bit more detail. How exactly will you investigate to what extent Google is using content without compensation or opt-outs? And is there a question of if there should be compensation or how much content gets reproduced? Or will the AI office or the GRC maybe be involved if it's looking at the technical details of AI reproducing content? And I also wanted to ask if there's been any contact with US authorities on this matter. Thank you.
Thanks. So, indeed, this morning we have opened a formal antitrust investigation to assess whether Google has breached our competition rules by using the content of web publishers as well as content uploaded on the online web sharing platform YouTube for artificial intelligence purposes. The investigation will indeed examine whether Google is distorting competition by imposing unfair terms to the publishers publishers of this content or by granting itself some privileged access to the information, therefore, of course, getting an advantage by it. At this stage, there's not much information we can share. It's an investigation we have opened just this morning. We always have a number of tools in our investigations. These, of course, include a dialogue with the company concerned, so clearly we will be in touch with Google. We are already in touch with Google also on this matter. We could perhaps consult other market participants. We, of course, have our own research tools. So at this stage of the investigation, I cannot specify what exactly we will be doing to assess the matter. But, of course, we will develop this throughout the investigation, also based on the information we collect. Then, for your question concerning the possible contacts with the U.S. authorities, we have informed them of the decision that was about to be adopted. There could be contacts in the future, but of course at this stage I cannot prejudge also what the reply of the U.S. authorities will be, but I can confirm that we have reached out to them on this matter.
Thank you, Ariana. Christian Feld, I think... sorry, you have a follow-up, and then we come to Christian, who I understand has a question on the same topic.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, just to clarify, you said you informed them about the decision that was about to be adopted, so today, this morning, or can you say that?
I don't have the precise timeline. Again, we don't really say the minute in which we contact authorities, but the decision was adopted very early this morning, as you know, since you received the press release, and the contacts were around that time, more or less. I cannot specify exactly when, but they were informed that the decision was coming.
Yes, and I understand, Ariana, that's general practice, right? That we communicate the decision to the concerned entities shortly before, at least.
To the companies involved, absolutely, yes.
Exactly.
In this case, also to the U.S. authorities.
Thank you for clarifying that. Christian, still any question on this topic, or has it been clarified by Ariana?
No, it's a follow-up. Today's announcement comes after very harsh reactions from the US after the decision taken against X. So with today's announcement, do you want to demonstrate the EU's fearlessness against threats from the US? Thanks.
Thanks, Christian. No, what we want to demonstrate with today's decision is that, like always, we take decisions based on the merits of the specific cases, and this is valid for antitrust rules, for DSA, for DMA enforcement. This is valid in all instances. So, indeed, in the past days, we have had several decisions relating to DSA, DMA matters. Just yesterday, Thomas has more information on it, but we sort of took note of the commitments of Meta relating to the DMA. So as you can see, there is a flow of cases that were mature enough for us to be able to adopt a decision. What I can add is that, of course, when it comes to competition rules and antitrust included, clearly the EU is agnostic in relation to the country of origin of the company involved. Of course, the sole focus of our antitrust investigations is a possible illegal behavior and the harm that this could bring to competition and consumers within the European Union. We have always enforced our rules in a very fair and equitable manner, and we will continue to do so without discriminating towards companies operating in the EU. Also, let me also remind you that all decisions that we adopt within the EU are subject to independent judicial scrutiny of the EU courts. And once again, let me just remind you that for what relates to the investigation today, it's just an opening of an investigation, and it doesn't prejudge the outcome of it. Like always, Google will now have the possibility to engage with us and eventually reply to our concerns. So at this stage, it's purely an opening, raising doubts on practices and nothing more.
So often we've been asked in this room, when are you enforcing, when are you coming forward? Well, things, as it's shown, do take time, but once they mature, we come out, and this is part of our overall enforcement of EU legislation. Other questions to Ariana? No, then we can change topic. No questions in the room. One question here for somebody who hasn't asked a question today. Go ahead.
Thank you, Elzar Agaev, Azerbaijan Television. I have to reiterate my question from yesterday, and I hope Anita has had the opportunity to look into the matter. The European Union Security and Defence College is preparing to sign a cooperation agreement with Armenia's Monte Melkonian Military College. It's through just a simple search through Google can help us to find out who is Monte Melkonian. Monte Melkonian was a very notorious terrorist in 80s and 90s. And as a part of Asala terror organization, he perpetrated a lot of terrorist attacks against civilians and against diplomats in Europe, and of course in Azerbaijan also. So the question is, why EU-affiliated Security and Defence College preparing to sign agreement with military college which named after such kind of terrorist? Thank you.
Anita.
Thank you for your question. We have looked into it and no decision has been taken at this stage. We are still in an academic assessment stage, and any decision that would be taken would need to be taken by the College Steering Committee, which represents the 27 member states.
Thank you, Anita, also for having checked on this question. Other questions to Anita? Yes.
Thank you. It's from Azerbaijan also. Kama Mustafaeva report, news agency. I just want to ask Anita clarify if that means that it's possible that this agreement will not be signed if research shows something not okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it was a clear answer in saying that it is very premature to speak about a final decision, as this is still in the preliminary stages.
We can not prejudge the outcome. Yes, Vitaly.
Thank you. I'm not sure that it's for Anita, but President of United States, Donald Trump, he said that Ukraine may hold a presidential election or should hold presidential election because it's, how he said, it's not look like a democracy because of the war. There is no election during the long time. From position of EU, what do you think when for Ukraine is better to hold election and when it's possible and when it will be not okay for EU? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We had already referred to this question as these are exceptional times. Russia is in a war of aggression with Ukraine. President Zelensky is the democratically elected leader, and any election should take place when the conditions are permitting to do so.
Thank you. Mose.
Yes, thank you very much, Paula. Musa Assistance. I have two foreign affairs questions. First, related to Ukraine and Trump's 28 points peace plan you mentioned before, Paula. As we know, that plan has been reduced to 19 points, and not by the United States, but by, I suppose, the EU and the coalition of willing. So I wonder why that plan, those points, have not been published or disclosed by the Commission yet. Then I have another question relating to the Middle East. Thank you.
Yes. Do you want to go with that? Well, otherwise I take it.
As you wish, Paula. I think Paula and we have been mentioning this on and on. We are supporting Ukraine in the peace negotiations, and when it comes to the actual revealing of plans, this is something that it is entirely up to the Ukrainian side to do so.
Discussions are ongoing, so sharing of plans. Really, this is up to Ukraine to decide on its side whether it wants to share it or not. Other questions to Anita? No. Other questions? Yes, Jorge.
Yes, hello again. I have another clarification on the reparations loan. A key important element is the fact that you try to pull together the 210 billion of Russian assets across the European Union, and we know that 25 of these assets are likely held in private banks. So my question is, could banks invoke the principle of bank secrecy or bank privacy in order to stop the transfer of the assets to the European Commission, or if the regulation is approved, they will not have any choice but to transfer the assets? Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if this is a question for which we have an immediate answer. Looking at Balázs. Give it a go. There are questions which we may not have an immediate answer, and be it because the whole proposal is being discussed. So in any case, any answers would not be definitive. But Balázs.
Indeed, discussions are ongoing, but thank you for this challenging question. So when you look at the package that we put out Wednesday last week, there are two fundamental solutions, and there are 6 legal acts underpinning these solutions. Now, one of the legal acts is called, or is about an obligation for financial institutions to invest cash balances associated with immobilized assets in a union debt contract. So this legal act is about an obligation.
Good, but as said, this is a legal proposal which needs to be discussed, notably with the member states. Jan, or let me just see, any other question for Balázs? Might be for Balázs, even better. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's about, sorry, apologies. I just realized that I didn't ask this obvious question earlier. It's about digital, but I think the follow-up will be for Balázs. Let's start with Balázs. Has there been any update to the guidelines for travel to the US in light of the fierce backlash sparked especially by Elon Musk, calling for punishment of EU staffers who impose the X fine?
Not specifically to my knowledge. So when we look at third countries, we have guidelines for our staff members when they travel to these countries. These guidelines are regularly updated. I think there was an update for the US a couple of months ago, but also for other third countries. But I'm not aware of any specific additional update in relation to the scenario that you are invoking.
He invoked it. Can I ask what the changes were 2 months ago?
This I would need to look up.
Okay, Jan. So thank you, Balázs, and we bring back again Thomas.
Good. Giambo Biscelli, Bloomberg News. Sorry for saying it jolly now. I was looking now at this statement by Michael Kratsios, assistant to the U.S. President for Science and Technology, who just tweeted yesterday evening about his meeting with EVP Virkunen, in which he challenged the EU censorship regime and criticized the EU's bogus claims or deceptions levied against X. I wondered whether you could give us a bit more context about what was said during this meeting and how, if at all, this challenge was challenged on the EU side. Did the EVP respond in any specific way?
Thanks, Jan. So I can confirm that the meeting took place. I mean, the maths are pretty simple here. You want to offer your services in the EU, you comply with our legislation. It's as simple as that. And this is the main message that EVP has also been passing during that meeting. Now, on the censorship claims and the tweet you're referring to, you can be very vocal about unfounded claims, or you remain calm, focused, and you enforce your legislation in a fair and objective way, Ariana recalled it, like we keep doing. This was basically the message that EVP Virkkunen has passed on behalf of the Commission. Why are these censorship claims unfounded? Can get another go at it. Precisely because the Commission is not asking the removal of any type of content. We're just asking the platforms to enforce their own terms and conditions, all platforms. And here, we should actually not focus only on what opposes us with the US, but on shared challenges. You can talk to anyone in the US, they don't want to see terrorist content online. They don't want to see child sexual abuse material online. They don't want to see financial scams online. These are shared challenges we have with them. It's in the platform's own terms and conditions. They simply, here in the EU, have to enforce them. That's what we're asking. It has nothing to do with censorship.
That has to do with the obligations of any economic operators in the EU. We always forget to speak about the benefits of all the economic operators operating in the EU, having access to the biggest single market in the world, having access to 450 million people, consuming their services, their goods. So, as said, obligations come with benefits and benefits come with obligations. It's a very natural transaction. Jan, go ahead.
Sorry for hogging the mic. Thank you for your words, Thomas. It's always very good to hear you defend this legislation with such chutzpah and panache. Now, I was wondering, why is the strategy of the Commission not to reply at all to these kind of wide claims made by the US opposite numbers? Because on the podium you are very good at defending this, and I think you make a very good case. But I wish I could see a response to these tweets. I think some people would like to see a response to these tweets made on X or on Facebook, just more publicly.
Sometimes not communicating or not reacting or not responding is a form of response and is a form of communication. So whenever you see that there are some issues that are not directly addressed, replied, it's probably part of a conscious decision not to engage. We do here an important part of the work, which is to explain, to help you explain to our citizens and to citizens across the EU what is the rationale of our decisions, what is the rationale of our legislation. So you are absolute key in helping us translating this message and bringing it. And we prefer to do it in this context than engaging in posts back and forth. We think it can be much more constructive and comprehensive to explain in more than a few characters what is the origin, what is the rationale of the measures that we take in the EU. Other questions? No, which is perfect, because this allows us to end our midday on time. For all of you who are interested in moving on to the VIP corner with Commissioner Vaheli, to move on. To all the others, wish you a very good afternoon.